Hello, welcome back to the video. Today is July 25th, 2024, and today I'm going to be going over my Senate predictions again for this election, and I want to provide a more realistic take than I did. It depends on what channel this is going on, because one channel I posted the Senate one I did last week, and one channel I didn't. Either way, it was before the whole Biden switch up, and this is probably going to provide a lot of relief for Republicans who might be scared about the Harris effect or whatever, because in my take, there is none. There's no, like, her candidacy in no way affects the outcome that Democrats are likely screwed. This is the worst Senate map out of all the layouts they could have been handed. Uh, they're lucky that they're winning the generic, not winning the generic ballot like that much or anything. They're lucky they're not losing the generic ballot as much as you think they would be right now. Like Trump was up against Biden like 5%, let's be honest. So if Republicans won the generic ballot by 5%, they'd likely flip like 6 Senate seats. There's a lot of Senate seats that they could flip, and I outlined this in the thumbnail. Obviously, that thumbnail's not my full prediction, but it's technically possible. Tammy Baldwin's up like 6 points. She could definitely lose. Uh, Oh my god, I forgot her name again! No, I was remembering it last video. Whenever I need to talk about the senators, I forget their names. But whenever I don't need to, I remember their names. I'm so sorry. She's from this district where my mouse is right here. They could definitely flip Casey's seat. However, I think he's likely like the strongest uh, guy who's up for re-election right now in a swing state. I don't consider Minnesota a swing state, but it is also a possibility that Klobuchar would win here. There's a lot of flips possible. Montana probably will flip. Nevada isn't looking like it's going to on the Senate level, but definitely 100% could. Also, West Virginia's already gone. Man, I know, like, this is coming from a Democrat. West Virginia's already gone, though. Like, I know there's Democrats who think we can win West Virginia, and I don't like that there are, because that means there's Democrats who are probably spending money in West Virginia and getting money from the DNC, which is just a whole waste of money for them. Another seat that could flip, again, I doubt Tim Kaine loses in Virginia. He's up like 15%, but it is Virginia. This is like an absolute best case scenario. I'm going to go over my actual prediction. I'm just going over flips that could happen. Obviously, most of these other states, New Mexico, Arizona could also be flips. And just the flips alone would be enough to get them into this spot right here. Also, Maryland. Who knows how Hawkins actually going to perform? He's had good polls. He's had bad polls. So you see this, even with just the flips alone, they would still have the Senate, presuming Trump wins the election. Which, as of right now, that's what it looks like. So again, I want to state that I am a Democrat. I'm going to just be as brutal as possible uh, in this video because I do think it's over. At least for the Senate, I think Democrats could still win the presidency, as I went over in my last video, which for some reason got a lot of views according to the other one. In accordance to the other ones, I meant, uh, yeah, there's a lot of things that could happen. Happen. I can't talk. Okay, let me keep going then. See this color on North Dakota? That means safe Democrat, which in my definition would mean 15% or more Democrat. So I don't know who the nominee is here. Thankfully, it's not a state that matters because it is going to go Republicans, North Dakota. Duh. Uh, is it Doug Burgum? Is he running for re-election? He's a governor, isn't he? I'm sorry. I don't know that much about the Midwest. I usually am able to just color it off as red and no one bats an eye because it always goes red. So now, yeah, that color means safe. This would mean likely, which would be 7% to 14.9% of a margin. If you win 42 to 49% and the rest is independent or whatever, that's a 7-point win. That's a likely Democrat win if you're the Democrat who won here. Lean is 2 to 6.9%. So if you win by 5%, so 40 to 45 or whatever, and it's 15% independent, whatever makes up the last bit, that it will technically be a lean state. Anything under 2-point margin is tilt. So, yeah, I know no one else does those margins but me. I like those margins personally because I think it gets the map a lot more, puts everything in different shades and gets you a better depth on the states. So obviously North Dakota or say Nebraska, Technically, the only data we've seen out of Nebraska, that independent, has been tied up 3 and like down 5. I don't know how. Obviously, the Republicans going to win. I have no doubt about that. But the fact that they are in striking distance in the polls alone, if that were to actually happen, uh, you know what? I'm not even going to go over that. It's not even worth talking about that possibility. So I'm just going to go over everything else. I'm going to put in the safe Republican seats, which is a, this alone is why Democrats should be scared. North Dakota, Wyoming, Utah for the Senate, definitely. Nebraska special election, Tennessee, West Virginia is a safe flip because Manchin's not running again. Indiana, probably, because I think it is the governor here. And anything I can put under the 15-point margin, I'm trying to think. I don't think I can. Uh, so, yeah, that's 45. They only need 5 of these other seats. I'm pretty sure any Republican can pick out most of these 5, like most of these states, and be like, yeah, we're going to win this one, we're going to win this one, we're going to win this one, all of those. But I am going to fill in the safe Democrat states. I do think I know I said I could fill in safe Democrat states. I think Hogan is going to lose in Maryland. Like I said, it is possible that he flips the state. He's had a couple good polls, but the last like 3 bunches he's been down like 15 points. I think he loses here by 9%. That's my prediction. Let's say 43 to 52 rest independent. I don't know. Something like that. Massachusetts should be a safe Democrat win, so should Vermont and Maine. Technically, those are independent seats. I'm not going to go over the logistics of that. That's so stupid. Obviously, they caucus with the Democrats. I'm going to write them down as Democrats. Rhode Island, probably. Connecticut. Uh, Delaware is like a 15-point margin. I know the guy here is not running for re-election, or I think he's losing his re-election bid. So I'm going to say likely, as in like like a 13-point victory. Was it No, is it Coons? I don't know who it is. Sorry about that. New York, is it again? It should be Schumer. It should be Schumer. If not, it's Gillibrand. Either way, they both. Oh yeah, no, it's Gillibrand because Schumer was in 2022. So yeah, Gillibrand I think is the one running here, and she should win pretty handily in New York. I know some polls have had New York uh, not strong towards Democrats, but I think that it's going to change a little bit toward as we get closer to the election day. I should also mention if for some reason anyone's in the middle part of the video, no one ever gets to the middle part. They always get to the end. But if anyone's here, this is a prediction video. The last video I made, so far it's gotten like 1,300 views overnight. I don't know how. But so far, everyone's been in those comments. You can go look, and they're like, oh, well, Trump's up in Nevada right now. He's definitely going to win Nevada. That's not how it works. And I think that might be why Republicans thought that it was rigged. Like they genuinely think that specific polls that they can pick out will 100% represent the final result. And that's so weird because you look at 2016, you look at the polls, Hillary was supposed to win a landslide. Are you telling me that means Hillary actually won? Because if that's the case, then that means that Trump might have won in 2020, if that's what you're going to say, but that would also mean Hillary won in 2016. So I don't know what they're talking about. It doesn't make any sense. Like, oh, Trump's up in the Virginia, when also someone also said he's not up in Virginia. He's consistently down in Virginia, except for a few extra polls. He has a worse favorability rating in Virginia. That was even with Biden, he was losing in Virginia. Harris, he's definitely going to lose to in Virginia, probably by like 7 or 8 points. Uh, Again, like I know it's weird to see a Democrat say we're going to get hammered in the Senate, and then we're probably not going to win the presidential election. I'm trying to be as realistic as possible, especially since I got every state in 2020 right, which I will mention in every video until the day I die. I'm also going to say likely for New Jersey. I think this is. I feel so stupid if I'm wrong, but I don't know who won this primary, but it might have been the governor's wife. Governor Murphy, I think is his name. Let me see. Uh, Phil. Phil Murphy wife. I hope that's what it. Tammy Murphy. Did she win her thing? Okay. Nope, she lost it. She lost it actually. It says her exit from the Senate race ended the process. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Uh, because I still think whoever won here is going to win by a decent margin. It really doesn't matter as long as the Democrats on the ticket, they're going to win New Jersey. Uh, and now we're going to go to we're gonna also going to add Hawaii, California, and again fitting in with that basically safe margin. New Mexico, I think it's going to be like 8 or 9 points. Uh, Maybe I think in worst case scenario, Democrats lose here by no win here by like 3. But again, it is possible. Like I said in the thumbnail, I think the absolute uh, most Republicans could win by they could get 61 Senate seats. It shouldn't happen, but it could. That's the point of this. Washington's also basically safe. I'm gonna go just past that one as quick as I can. So now you'll see, 41 to 45 Democrats look like a lot better than they did before I filled in their big states. Oh, also Virginia. My bad. I told you I Kane's up here by like 14 and Minnesota. Okay, I forgot a lot of states here. Uh, yeah, Minnesota. Any other likely I'm gonna say Casey is likely in Pennsylvania by that kind of margin. He's probably gonna win by like 7 or 8%. He almost won safely in 2018. This is obviously a different year, but it's Casey on the ticket. He's very different. There's a reason why Josh Shapiro won his state by almost a safe margin, like 13, 14%. And Fetterman, I don't think he won by that much. I mean, it wasn't a nail biter, but it wasn't that much at all either way. Josh Hawley, I believe, in Missouri, is consistently not been up by like he's been like 8, 9, up to like 14 point wins here. He shouldn't win by double digits. No, I meant he shouldn't win by like 20 points or more. He could win safely. I wouldn't be surprised if he wins by like 18, but if he wins any more than 20 points, I'll be very surprised. I say he gets a 14-point victory, which again is technically under the safe margin. Same with Mississippi. Mississippi's governor race was close. It was basically a likely state in 2020. Not really, I guess. But generally, Mississippi's state races have closer results. In 2018, I think both of their races were single digits. I think one was more than the other, but still. And then that Nebraska Republican, even though they trailed or tied at some point, I think was it Ted Fisher? I think she's going to win by around like uh, let's say 7% as of right now. It's a similar thing to Evan McMullen in Utah because Democrats aren't really running a person here that are getting any votes, and I think they should back if they haven't already. They should back the independent. I know like it was a big thing in Utah that election night, like how Democrats were already endorsing McMullen for that nominee, but I haven't seen anything nationally about this Nebraska race, so there could be a weird independent sleeper. And something tells me that this independent is not really Democrat. It's just slightly less Republicans than Democrats just gave up here. Something just tells me that. I don't know. So now that we got all the likely states filled in, yeah, we do. I'm just going to fill in the rest here. Oh, no, Florida's likely. I'm sorry. So we got all these are the big states to watch. The rest of these, I think Democrats are going to win the majority of these, but they are also definitely going to lose the majority of the Senate. They have 51 Senate seats here. They've already lost one here. They lose any other here as long as Trump wins. They lose the Senate because J.D. Vance would be the split here. So you'll see Texas. Ted Cruz, he won by I think 2% around that. 2018, he'll probably win by like 5 or 6 this time around. He's also been up by more. Again, I don't want to hear argument about the margins, just about the results, like the actual result. If you think Ted Cruz wins by 20 in Texas, as long as I said red, I don't want to hear it as long as it's red. I don't care what you think about the margin specifically. If I selected like Missouri or something, which is technically in a striking distance of Democrats, if technically, I'm not saying they should spend any money here. They shouldn't spend any money here. In fact, I think they should spend all their money in 2 states, which I'll go over in a minute when I get closer to the end. But yeah. Now we got 2 more states for Democrats: Wisconsin, Michigan. Those should be at least 5 point wins each. They could be even more. As of right now, I think they're 5 or 6 point wins. They got Tammy Baldwin, and again that one Stabenow. I hope that's Stabenow in the Michigan Senate, and they're both long. they're both veteran Democrats, as in not literally veterans, but they've been in Congress for a while. They're polling very well. I don't think they'll have any issues winning. I think in Michigan it's a little bit closer than it is for Baldwin, Wisconsin, who I think has been senator since like the Obama administration. Maybe 2006 they were like, wait, no, I can't do math. No, maybe 2006 because that'd be three. This would be her third election. 2006, right? 2012, 2018, 2024. I hope that's what it is, or I'm very stupid. Uh, and then you'll see a couple other things here. I'm also going to give Nevada to Democrats. Rosen polls so much better here than Biden or Harris did, or Laxalt did, or the governor of Nevada did in 2022. Like, it is such night and day for Rosen. Rosen's outperforming Harris by like 10 points everywhere in Nevada. I wouldn't be surprised if they win by like 10 points, actually. If they lose, it's a possibility. If things get worse for Democrats, but I think as of right now, as of a week ago, it was the worst it could have gotten. And I don't think it gets worse on a national level at all. Okay, so you will see there's definitely a way in which Democrats can win the Senate. They can win Montana. They can win Arizona. They can win Ohio. They're not going to win all three of these. I think they might actually uh, go 50-50 here, but even if they go 50-50, it's still. Oh wait, no, I meant Republicans already at 50. My bad, my bad. They'd have to win all three of these here, and win the president race, which is so unlikely that I think it's already over for Democrats. So you see Gallego in Arizona up consistently. Again, it's against a failed Republican nominee. I don't know why Republicans thought this would be different than Martha McSally in 2018 and 2020, who lost two times in a row. They decided to run the Republican nominee from 2022 for governor two times in a row, who will lose again and cry fraud again. Again, I know I feel like it sucks that if I say there's no election fraud, I sound biased because it's just a fact. All right, you go to Ohio again. You see Sherrod Brown. This is probably the hottest take of the entire thing. I do think Sherrod Brown wins here. It's not because of the polls. I mean, a little bit because there's nothing else to go off of. But the scenario in which that he was already, even at the bottom of the Democrats' party's run for just nationally, this is like I said last week, the worst they've ever looked in like a decade. This is their worst possible looking election. It could have been a really bad red wave, and I still had them winning Ohio. And on top of that, Sherrod Brown brings his lead up to like 6 points from like four before Harris announces her run, which is even better for them altogether. He has endorsed Harris, I believe, and brings us to the last person, Montana, John Tester. You know who are the only people who haven't endorsed Harris? John Tester. I think John Tester could win. I think if he endorses Harris, he will definitely lose. I don't think he should endorse Harris as a Democrat. Uh, I just at all. I think if he endorses Harris, it's a death note, death wish, whatever. He's probably talked to her about how he cannot endorse her. And again, the endorsement doesn't matter. It's Montana. Montana's not going to vote for Kamala Harris. And I do think even with him refusing uh, to vote to endorse her, he's still going to lose here by up to like 6 points. John Tester, again, he's been beloved mostly in Montana, despite their politics for like 2 decades at least. He might did he also used to be governor at one point? I don't remember. One guy used to be a governor and then went to Senate. I think I'm confusing that with West Virginia though. That happens a lot. But yeah, Montana. There's almost no scenario where I see John Tester winning here, other than polls are underestimating Democrats, which is also unlikely considering they've been underestimating Republicans for like 10 years now. Actually, more since like Obama, they've been just severely underestimating Republicans who always do better every single year. Again, Republicans are barely down on the generic ballot. You compare it to 2018, where Democrats probably won the popular vote by like 5%. I don't know that for a fact, but around that, they definitely won the popular generic ballot vote. I'm going off a House generic ballot, where I think Republicans won by over 2% in 2022. They actually won the popular vote. So yeah, I don't think it's that cruel to say to Democrats that they are out of this. They're out of the Senate. They should be focusing their resources on the House. They should be focusing their resources on every single one of these states that is still blue. Montana, if you're going to, okay, so say they're spending 50 million in Florida right now. I don't know why they would be, but I'm assuming they're spending a lot of money in Florida, in Texas because of some polls. Probably that Nebraska race, they're probably sponsoring that independent candidate, and they probably are still spending money in races that I think they have already locked down, like Maryland. I don't think they need to spend any money in Maryland anymore. I don't think they need to spend money in that Virginia race, despite the other races, how they look. I don't think they actually need to spend money in Minnesota either. They should take all of that money, put it in Montana, and honestly try and get endorsements from Republicans, to be honest. That's all they need to do. They need John Tester to win, and they have the very slight, tiny chance at winning the Senate or keeping the Senate if they win the presidency. If they lose the presidency, there's no scenario in which they do this because they would have to win Montana on top of another one of these states. The next closest is Texas. They're not beating Ted Cruz. So yeah, it's over. It's Jover. Whatever you want to say. Democrats should spend more money in the House where they're leading the generic ballot and will likely flip the House this year instead of spending money in these other states. And my baby sister's yelling. I'm going to end this here. I think I cut this shorter than some other videos, so I think I'm happy about that. Goodbye. Thank you for watching.